ideas about adjusting reeds and making reeds from scratch. For those wanting to make your own reeds, I suggest that you go to the web and visit Vaccaro Information Services. I think you'll see a web link below. There are several reed making books there, and they're all worthwhile. For those of you that want to adjust reeds, I suggest that you use Tom Ridenour's great system of reed adjustment. And that system comes with a book, a CD, and the tools. And I'm going to show you the tools now. Make sure you buy the video, the book, and the reed adjustment tool. This is the best and fastest and easiest method of adjusting reeds that I currently know of. If you do not buy this package, you have robbed yourself. Since the reed is so important and you don't want to waste reeds, it's really worth your time to get this system. I've used it for years. Currently I do more work with knives and files, but certainly I use the system still. And as you can see, my system looks well used, which it is. I'll be showing some basic reed adjustment techniques on this video. However, this is just part of the total understanding of the reed, its care, and the adjustment of the reed. What is the purpose of the reed? Simple question. The purpose of the reed is to vibrate in such a way to enhance a well-designed and well-adjusted mouthpiece. A reed also tones and colors a well-made mouthpiece by the size and the shape and the cut. No matter how soft or how hard a reed is, the most important thing is that it vibrates. And for me, that means vibrates throughout the whole reed, not just part of the reed, the whole reed vibrating. Vibration could be minimized with a ligature if desired. However, if a reed doesn't vibrate fully, you have a dull sounding reed. There's a difference between dull and muted. If you like a dull sounding reed, you can find a ligature that will muffle the reed, and many musicians do like those type of ligatures. The bottom line though is the whole reed must vibrate from bottom to top. Good cane tends to be golden in color, and many times you'll get reeds that are white or even green. That means the reed has not been cured or is defective. And the problem is some companies make so many reeds and the demand is so high that they don't have time to completely cure their reeds. One of the things I like about the Andreas Eastman reed is that it's always golden in color and always cured to the maximum. When working on a reed, make sure you have plenty of light. Not only incandescent light or fluorescent light, but natural sunlight. So put your workbench in front of a window where the sun comes in, and whatever time of day you get the most amount of sun, that's when you want to be working on your reeds. I do assume that you have a reed workbench. I have a reed workbench, and it's mandatory to your regular practice of reed making. Make sure you can see the reed. Using a magnifier of some sort is fine. It's not a weakness on your part. It's to help you see the reed, and you really need to see the reed to work on it. My sight's not perfect. Sometimes I use specialty glasses. Sometimes I use glasses that you get from the drugstore. Sometimes I use a magnifier with a light. Sometimes I use a loupe. Of the stock cane that is selected, very little of it is actually used, and I'm talking about a 6-foot span of reed. The section of tube needs to be the size that's appropriate for the reed it's going to be made. So a clarinet reed will be made from a different part of the cane stock than a tenor sax reed, because the reed size needs to be accommodated by the size of the stock. Depending on what part of the tube cane was used and the brand you might use, the cell size in the reed may vary. It's important to know the cell size that you prefer. And when I say the cell size, when you cut a reed, if you suck on it, you'll feel air coming through it. Sometimes a lot of air will come through, sometimes not much air will come through. Now, when we talk about reed making, we'll talk about what to do about that. But still, the size of those holes where the air is coming through, the cells, is important in how a reed vibrates. It's important to know that most reed companies make more than one profile or one cut on their reeds so that they can accommodate different musicians' needs. Some will put more cane in one part of the reed, and others will put more cane in another part of the reed, and most players really have a preference on the kind of cut of reed they like. Once we know that we have different amounts of wood in various parts of the reed, it helps the musicians to vary their sound and facilitate the resistance breakpoint of the mouthpiece. That's where the facing starts. You can understand where the breakpoint of the reed is from the mouthpiece very simply and crudely by putting in a piece of paper and seeing where it stops. On this particular mouthpiece, that's where the breakpoint is. You should know which profile you prefer so you know what fits that breakpoint on your mouthpiece. What we know is that the breakpoint will be different on every mouthpiece, and you want to make sure that you have a reed that facilitates that breakpoint.